Hey guys and gals, Greg and Mortis back with a movie review. Today we're going to be talking about 2020's Blumhouse release of Fantasy Island. And I just got back from the theater from seeing it. This is opening weekend, weekday, I guess. I'm a little bit off. I wasn't able to go to the weekend, so now we're here today to watch it. And I'm going to give my 2 cents about it, like that really matters. This is a take of the re-imaging of the original Fantasy Island TV series that ran on ABC from 1977 to 1984. Loved that show. Haven't seen it in years, but I really love to go back and watch it. But that one, of course, with Mr. Rourke, and then you had Tattoo. Everybody will know Tattoo. You'll remember that phrase, "The plane, boss, the plane." And love it, love it, love it. So this is a re-imaging of that. Loosely re-imaging, okay? This was directed by Jeff Wadlow, who also brought us movies such as Cry Wolf, which I loved back in the day. He also did Truth or Dare, not so good, and a few other films, okay? He's not done a ton, but that's a couple of them. But this movie here is basically a setup where these 5 contestants, they win this contest and they're flown to Fantasy Island. And once they're flown to Fantasy Island, they're met by Julia. Now, Julia is played by Fitz-Henley, and she introduces each other, all the contestants and that, and tell them what they're kind of there for. And then they're met by Mr. Rourke, who's played by the great Michael Pena. And I love Michael Pena. Anything that guy's in. Recently, Jexy was awesome. But Michael Pena, man, always delivers, and I loved his character here as Mr. Rourke. But the character set up here is Maggie Q plays the character of Gwen. You also got Lucy Hale from Truth or Dare and Pretty Liars and a few other films, but she plays the character of Melanie. And then you also got Ryan Hansen, who plays Bradley. And then Jimmy O. Yang plays Brax. They play brothers in this one. And a little tidbit, I didn't get to see in the theater Little Bosses, but supposedly they were in that movie as well together. And also Austin Stowell plays Randall. So that's kind of your main core there, and then you're introduced to Michael Rourke in this movie, who plays the character Morgan. He had a great character in this one I really enjoyed. And then you also have Portia Doubleday, who plays Sloane. She comes into play here as well. But basically what happens is once they land on this island, they're met by Julia, and then they're met to Mr. Rourke. And Mr. Rourke explains things. They're there to have their fantasies revealed and played out. I guess before the trip, they were supposed to write down their fantasy, and that's kind of the way this sets place, okay? So basically, when it gets started, or once the movie starts, one by one, they're given their opportunity to play out their fantasy. The only scenario in this is that they got to let the scenario play out till the end. They cannot end their fantasy. It has to play out. But always remember this. This is a movie that's kind of a judgment in your mind. What would you want to have? Like, if you had a fantasy to be revealed, if you could have anything in your life replayed, or if you could have anything in your life and you had that fantasy, what would you do? And where would you go? What extremes would you go to have this thing fulfilled? That's one thing. It's one of these movies to think about. I mean, how far? And just always remember, things like that always has a tendency to have a twist, or to have some kind of bad come with it. And that's what you get in this movie. Each character that's playing their fantasy out thinks at first like, oh, this is awesome, until they realize it's not so awesome, that there are consequences to what's going on. So the movie plays out. You got Melanie, and you got different characters playing this movie. And I liked the acting as a whole. I thought it was pretty decent. I liked kind of some of the things that went on in this movie. I thought it was okay. I know this movie's getting bashed by some of the media. I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to give it some good things. I'm going to give it some good points. I thought the overall feel of it was okay. I do believe I read someone somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but somebody had mentioned it felt like somebody took dozens of scripts and threw it into Fantasy Island. I'll agree. It felt like there was a lot going on in this movie. So for that, I do have a little bit of fault. But once again, I thought that the way that fantasies played out, and the way, without spoiling this, the way that they kind of intertwine with each other without spoiling too much, I thought was decently done. It's an okay film. I would give this thing 6 out of 10. It's a little bit above average. Would I say you would need to go check it out in the theater? I mean, maybe a $5 matinee, but I would say wait for it to stream or rent it at Redbox or whatever when it comes out. But I mean, I had an okay time with it. It's not horrible by any means. I enjoyed the characters. I thought Maggie Q was awesome in this movie. I thought she done a really good job. And once again, Lucy Hale, man, she's Lucy Hale. I mean, she's great. She really is. She's strong. She plays I was going to say the bad word. She plays a witchy woman in this one. But she's clever. She's got it going on, and I like that. But Portia Doubleday was really good in this as well. But overall, they give it a twist at the end that I felt like there was a lot of endings going on. I felt almost like I was watching a Scooby-Doo moment when you have that hole at the end that I'd have got away if it hadn't been for them meddling kids. Well, it felt like I had like 6 of those moments at the end, and I was like, oh. So that let me down a little bit. But overall, I thought it was just an interesting, fun film that check your brain at the door. Don't expect, this movie to be a #1 in the 2020 end of year list. It's not going to be for many people. Don't think this is going to win any kind of Oscars or any nominations. It's not that style film. But if you check your brain at the door and just go into just watching a movie, I think you can enjoy yourself enough to say, okay, that wasn't bad, okay? It's a Blumhouse film, and I like Blumhouse, even though they do tend to have a lot more of the PG-13 90210S style movies. That's the way I feel about it, and that was kind of where this is. Everybody looks pretty, and the movie looks good. Some of the special effects looks good, but overall substance is lacking a little bit. So that's where I'm having a little bit of fault. I'd like to see a little bit more. I know I read somewhere where they had originally screened this as a rated R, and for whatever reason they changed it to a PG-13. It didn't need to be rated R. It just needed to have a little bit more in it. But overall, I thought it was pretty well done. Check it out when it comes out on Redbox or whatever. I can't really tell you to rush out and see it at the theater, but definitely rent it. It's worth a watch, just maybe not a movie watch. So with that said, you can always follow me, Land of the Creeps, Greg Mortis, and you can check out our horror podcast. If you like this video, definitely give us that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate a subscription down below. You can subscribe to us. I've also got some more movie reviews coming up, but definitely check us out at landofthecreeps.blogspot.com. We definitely got our Women in Horror episode coming up that we're really excited about. That'll be recording tomorrow night, so that'll release next week. So with that said, definitely follow us. Thank you. Share this with everyone that you know. And if you like it, definitely give me that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Comment down below what you thought if you've seen it. Or maybe comment about what you thought about the original Fantasy Island. I'd love to talk to you about that. But with that said, we'll see you on the flip side. Until next time, this is Greg Mortis signing out. Peace!